Good day, my friends, and welcome back to my channel, The Mysterious Black Bandit. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more content. In today's video, we'll be talking about the legendary kingpin, Frank Matthews, or as some may call him, Black Caesar. Frank Matthews was born on February 13, 1944, in the segregated town of Durham, North Carolina. At the young age of 4, Matthews' mother passed away, and he was raised by his aunt, Za'zell Preston, the wife of the Durham police lieutenant. At the age of 14, Matthew got his first start in criminal activities in the 1950s by stealing poultry from the Tobacco Road Chicken Shack. His success inspired him to drop out of school in the 7th grade. Realizing he had a knack for organizing, especially in crime, Matthews put together his first enterprise, a group of chicken thief kids who operated on the poor side of Durham, North Carolina. He eventually got caught, and when confronted by the former, he assaulted him with a brick and got arrested, and had to serve a year for theft and assault at the Raleigh State Reformatory for Boys. Upon his release, Matthews moved to North Philadelphia, where he started working as a numbers writer for the illegal lottery. This is where he made important contacts that would become his future Philly drug connections. In 1963, he was arrested again, but avoided conviction by agreeing to leave Philly. He decided to move to Bedford-Stuyvesant section of Brooklyn, New York, where he continued to hustle numbers, but now as a barber. In 1965, 21-year-old Matthews decided to jump into the heroin drug trade. His connections he made from the illegal number hustling days provided a great platform for his transition into the new era of crime. Now at that time, the main suppliers of heroin in the US were the Italian mafia crime families. Matthew initially wanted and tried to join them to enter the market, but despite being able to gain the clientele with the Gambinos and the Bonanno, he was rejected by both families. So with the connections he made in Philly, he turned to the Spanish Raymond Marquez, a prolific Harlem numbers operator. He put Matthews in contact with the New York Cuban mafia godfather, Rolando Gonzalez. Rolando was one of the major drug dealers in Harlem at the time, so he arranged for Matthews to get heroin and cocaine straight from Caracas, Venezuela and Marseilles, France. Their partnership quickly propelled Matthews' illicit drug organization to the top of the New York drug business. He oversaw a network that expanded into 21 states, from Massachusetts to Alabama and west to Missouri. Shortly after their partnership, Roland had to flee back to Venezuela because of an upcoming indictment in the US. But before fleeing, he sold Matthews his first kilo of cocaine for $20,000, with a promise to supply more in the future. Gonzalez then began sending Matthews large loads of cocaine and heroin from South America. Using his Latino crime ally, he forged a direct link to the French Connection heroin processing operation in Marseille and was appointed high priest of the new Black Mafia during an Atlanta sit-down in 1971. By the early 1970s, Matthews led a sophisticated organization that was handling multi-million-dollar loads of pure heroin imported from Venezuela in a 50-pound lot, spreading all over Bed-Stuy and other black neighborhoods from Atlanta to Boston. Matthews controlled the cutting, packaging, and sales of heroin in every major East Coast city. He operated 2 massive drug mills in Brooklyn, one located on Prospect Place, nicknamed the Ponderosa, and the other on East 56th Street, nicknamed the OK Corral. Both locations were heavily fortified and secured, with walls reinforced with steel and concrete and protected by guards with machine guns. His organization supplied other major dealers throughout the East Coast with multi-kilogram shipments for up to $26,000 per kilo. In 1971, Matthews organized a conference for major African American and Hispanic drug traffickers throughout the country who agreed to take control of the international shipment of heroin and cocaine to the United States to attend a meeting in Atlanta, Georgia. This meeting was held to eliminate the middleman, the mafia. This would definitely change the nature of the drug business. Before, the mafia was asserting dominance over the business while African Americans sold and used the drugs in their cities. Now, the black dealers established connections and took control over their neighborhoods. Now, it was said that Matthews spent his wealth lavishly. He purchased a mansion for his girlfriend, Barbara Hinton, and his 3 sons in the Mafia Enclave on Rottenwood Road in Staten Island, New York, right across the street from the crime boss, Paul Castellano. He formed 2 companies that went on real estate buying spree in New York and down south. And he also enjoyed a $200,000 a day gambling binge at Las Vegas casinos, which helped him launder all the loads of money he had. Then there was the fleet of luxury cars, with his favorite being the Lincoln Continental Mark IV. Since he was always being seen in this car, the press gave him the nickname Mark IV, and later he was also called the Black Caesar. In 1972, Matthews held another meeting in Las Vegas at the Sand Hotel during the Muhammad Ali and Jerry Lawry boxing match. Soon after this meeting, police received authority to put wiretap on an apartment rented by Matthews. They were just expecting a modest bust since no one in law enforcement had ever heard of him, but they soon found out that Matthew was doing narcotic business in over 20 states. Once the DEA had enough evidence, Matthews' operation located at Prospect Place was raided. Investigators found his large heroin packaging operation. The drug was cut with mannitol and quinine in 32-gallon garbage cans and being stirred with canoe paddles. He was charged in Florida for trying to sell 40 pounds of cocaine in January 1973. The DEA arrested Matthews at the Las Vegas airport as he and his girlfriend were about to board a flight to Los Angeles to attend the Super Bowl. Matthews was facing life behind bars, and initially his bail was $5 million, which was the highest bail amount ever set at that time because the magistrate was afraid that he had cash stuffed in safe deposits all around and was certain that Matthews would take the money and run. But after a few weeks, Matthews' lawyer got his bail reduced to $325,000, and he was out the same day. He was indicted on 6 counts of tax evasion and conspiracy to distribute heroin and cocaine and was facing 50 years in prison. He was required to check in with the courts weekly, and he did so until June 26, 1973. Matthews had allegedly took $20 million and fled the country with his girlfriend, leaving behind his common-law wife and his 3 sons. It was said that he sent a bundle of cash dressed in Christmas paper to the bail's bondholder to get his relatives off the hook for putting up the $325,000 for his release. The FBI placed a $20,000 bounty on Matthews, the highest set by a federal agency since the bank robbery of John Dillinger. In 1975, 8 of his narcotic colleagues were arrested and convicted on federal charges, including his common-law wife, Miss Hinton, but her conviction was overturned. And due to a newly available drug turf, several of Matthews' old friends had been killed in a mashup. Frank Matthews, or Black Caesar, was only 29 years old when he disappeared. It was said that he was possibly richer than the American gangster, Frank Lucas, and more powerful than the mafia. But to this day, there have not been any verified sightings of him, as some continue to debate whether he is dead or alive. If Frank Matthews is still alive, he will be 78 years old. Some believe that he fled to the Bahamas or Africa, and others believe that he was killed by other gangsters, but there is no evidence to any of this. What do you think happened to Black Caesar? Do you think he is still alive and living, somewhere under a different name, or do you think he was killed by the mafia? Let me know down in the comments what you think happened to Mr. Matthews. Again, I want to thank you for watching, and click that like button and subscribe for more content. And as always, stay mysterious, my friends.